Well, alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be tuning, or trying to tune a little bit further, the purple truck. So one of the things we're going to be messing with right off the back is setting up our AEM AFR gauge, the air fuel ratio, and just trying to calibrate it a little bit better. And another thing I'm going to be doing right off the back is going to pick up a digital timing light so I can set the timing in the truck. Hey, what is up guys? I just wanted to throw out here, this is a quick editor's note. Before you follow this step by step, I recommend watching this entire video all the way through. That way you can see if I have made any mistakes throughout the video, and you can watch me recorrect them so you don't make the same mistakes as I'm making the video. Like I said, this is not a how-to. This is you guys watching me set mine up, and you'll get to learn how to calibrate things like your sensors and everything. But as far as the tuning goes, if you're having any issues, don't be shy to reach out to a professional. That's what they're there for. It's cheaper to see a professional than to blow your engine, so keep that in mind. The one thing we're going to start out with is tuning, or just getting it so we can calibrate our AEM wideband gauge. So I'm actually not 1000% sure which one it is, but I'm pretty sure it's this one, because all you're going to have to do is go into tools. You're going to have to unlock calibrations and then hit unlock, and then open backup tools and go down to calibrate AFR table and choose whichever gauge you're running. I just chose this one because it matches the closest. I mean, it's saying 12.4, that was saying 12.6, so it's not that far off. And I just hit right to controller, right complete. I just hit close, and we'll start the truck real fast just for a second. And now I'm reading 11.2. Oh, hold on, we'll wait for that gauge. That gauge is saying 12, this gauge is saying like 11.8. And I heard one thing you're supposed to do is run your ground all the way down to where your ECU grounds. So that's something we may do as well, just to get a more accurate reading. But that helped out a little bit more. I'm getting a little bit closer to an accurate AFR gauge on the computer. So good little start. And the next thing I'm going to be working on is timing. All right, guys, so this is probably one of the most important steps. And I'm going to show you how to properly time your truck. So we're going to hop in here now. And one of the things that we're going to start out with is we're going to mechanically make sure my truck is completely at 0, top dead center. So I'm going to pop this thing open. I don't need this right now because mechanically is where we're starting. So with that being said, what this entails is we're going to pull my first spark plug, and we're going to put a screwdriver in the cylinder. I already started to try to take off my distributor cap last night to figure out what size trigger wheel I need, because you will get some bucking until you change over to a Mega Squirt trigger wheel is what I've heard. Some people run stock, so it's up to you. But anyway, I'm going to pull this off, and I'm going to turn my crank by hand to 0 degrees. I'm going to put a screwdriver in the cylinder hole, or just to the cylinder from the spark plug hole. And as we turn it, the screwdriver is going to come up, and once it starts going back down, we've gone too far, so we're going to bring it back up until it's top dead center, and make sure that for top dead center on the crankshaft pulley, this little mark lines up with 0. If it does, that means our top dead center is set. So we can put everything back together. We're going to go into the computer, and then we're going to literally mark that in the computer. If it's not at top dead center, we're going to put a mark on the 0 with chalk on the crankshaft pulley, and I can either use my distributor or trigger wizard, which I'll show you how to do in the computer, and bump it down or up to get the crankshaft pulley at 0. Then we're just going to save it. We're going to put our fixed timing to 10, because that's going to tell the computer to fire 10 degrees after top dead center. That way it's not firing as your cylinder's coming up or at the top. It's going to fire your cylinder as it's going back down. And that's how you make your power, essentially. If your cylinder's firing before it gets to the top, you're fighting the engine movement, and you're going to get detonation and pinging. So this is me coming back from the future. This is the last clip I'm making for the video. So we're going to dive in now and get this done. So I forgot to mention why it's important to pull your dizzy cap to find 0 degrees. Basically, your engine will do 2 strokes. One is compression, one is exhaust stroke. So it's called being 180 out. So you want to make sure your distributor is pointing at number 1, because if it's not pointing at your number 1, that means your timing's way out of whack. So if if it's all the way up here, 180 degrees, you're 180 out, it means you're on the exhaust stroke. So I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So you want to get it to the compression stroke. So I've just rounded it back around one more time. Right there is 0 degrees on our crank pulley. I'm going to mark it with chalk. And we're going to see, yep, it's pointing at number 1, which is a good thing. I'm going to stick my screwdriver in the spark plug hole. Be very gentle, be very careful, and just move this back and forth to make sure it's the cylinder's at its peak. Okay, so our test was very successful. I am going to take my my pink chalk and mark the 0 degrees. It's going to be the second tick on the harmonic balancer. The first one is -5. So I'm going to mark that when I can get to it. And I'm going to start the truck and put a test light on it and select OK, and then put my computer to fix timing 10. All right, guys, I went digging through my extra parts, and I did have a new screw for the Dizzy. So I should pull a second one just because it's going to look so much better. And we're going to throw that on the truck right now. So essentially, now that you've put everything back together, we are going to start the truck, and I'm going to show you how to make sure you're at 0 degrees while using a timing light. So a timing light is required for this. So setting up your timing light is a pretty simple task. All you got to do is you take this plug, make sure it's going through to the engine, and it goes on plug 1. You want to make sure this wire stays away from any moving parts, because you're gonna mess something up if you tangle your wire in there. That's common sense. Negative, positive. And once we start the truck, every time the distributor comes around and hits 1, it's going to send a signal to fire a light to make it look like these are moving in slow motion. So right now we're going to time the truck to fixed timing 10 degrees, but we're going to use Trigger Wizard to achieve 0 on the crankshaft pulley. So I've been playing with this for the last couple days, and truck's just warming up right now. We don't have cold starts or anything enriched yet still. But essentially, once this warms up a bit, we're going to change our fixed timing to 10. And with that being said, I gotta play with these numbers. So I'm basically going to set this to 10. Hopefully that doesn't kill the truck. All right, there we are. Now we're going to go outside, and we're going to change this over until every time that crankshaft rotates, it's hitting the 0. So you're going to see right here that our mark, every time it comes around, the light shines. And I guess it's hard for you guys to see because I made such a small mark, but it's hitting 0. There's a mark to the right of it. That's our 10. Right now this is 0. So essentially when we hit use table, it's going to advance it 10 degrees automatically because now it knows where top dead center is. All right, so with Trigger Wizard, I have adjusted it so every time the crankshaft pulley goes around, the 0 mark matches with the prong. So we're gonna close this up and hit use table and go take it for a test drive and see if we've made any real progress here with this. Oh, my bad. We're gonna hit use table, burn, and I bumped up my fuel a little bit in idle. It was idling really like rough, but we haven't really messed with my idle, like I said. So now we're gonna go take this up and down the street and see how it goes. And again, when I give it gas, it's gonna want to stall out like that, and that is literally just because I need that trigger wheel. All right, guys, that was exciting. We've officially found our top dead center on the engine and set our fixed timing to 10. I did mess with 15 and 5. It did not like 5, and 15 wasn't very great for it. I know some people run theirs 15 degrees after top dead center, but my truck personally just like 10. I mean, that's kind of what the tuning is you choose your settings and find what you like. I wanted to say, because I'm going to be jumping into a new day of tuning, we had to relocate the seat for now, so I threw it in the cab of the black truck just until we get this thing all tuned out, and we'll throw it back in once we're done. All right, guys, we're back out here. It's a new day. So we've just timed the truck, and now I want to start messing with the auto tune. Okay, so with the truck key turned, we're online. We're going to go over to basic load settings, and I'm going to hit general settings, and we're going to change our AFR target. So we're going to include our AFR target and burn that. Now, the auto-tune should work a little bit better. All right, I've gotten this figured out now. I'm going to go to basic and load settings, enter into sequential settings, and we're going to change this to CC and CC. Hit OK. I saved that last night. We'll burn it anyway. I can't burn it. I'm just wearing some beater shoes right now because it's raining, but I give it some throttle. It revs, but it almost dies. Calibrating the TPS, I don't think really did much for us. See, if I get current, yeah, it's just so jank. Alright guys, so one of the things we're going to try out now is I'm actually going to unplug my throttle body position sensor because I think that's what I'm having an issue with. I think the sensor went bad. So we're going to replace that and see if it makes a difference on the truck. Alright, well, I'm feeling like a bit of an idiot. So this is your mass airflow sensor, and this is your throttle body position sensor. So I wasn't wrong about the TPS, but having the math plugged in was why it was being funny. Okay, I'm feeling pretty confident now. Now we're going to slap this back together and go get the computer. Alright, guys. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't anxious about this, because that would definitely mess everything up, because we already have a mass airflow sensor now. So the map is what I was supposed to disconnect. Oh man, it sounds so much better idle. Yo, we did it! Yo, this thing is legit connected! Sorry, I shouldn't be this hyped, but I am so excited right now. Here, we're gonna, oh man, boys, yo, this is so awesome. Oh, we did it. That is just so sick. I forgot what I was even going to go do real quick. Oh yeah, we're gonna go live tune this bad boy now. Now my truck's pretty dirty, but I'm happy we've gotten this figured out. The next thing I gotta figure out is I do get a little bit of a delay, just a hair of delay, and I get a little bit of a tick. So that's something I also gotta look at. All right, guys. So this video is gonna be kind of oddly set up because I'm just like in and out of my house trying to learn how to tune this, trying to show you guys what I'm doing, But I just thought of something. Now that my throttle body position sensor is actually the one that's hooked up and my map is unplugged, we should now actually be able to calibrate my TPS. Get current. Get current. So that's how it is. Get current. You can see holding the throttle. Get current. Just right around there. And accept. Now that should give me a little bit better reading. Start the truck up. I think every time I do something new, I'm just going to go to auto-tune, hit start auto-tune until I really start figuring out how to tune it myself. Because I don't want to get too carried away until I learn a lot more about it. I mean, I have a lot of reading and learning to do myself. But for the hard body guys, anybody with a Nissan D21, with OBD1, this is really just a manual to try to help walk you guys through it. Again, thank you to my friend Alejandro Lopez. I'll drop his Instagram down below so you can see it. He's really been walking me through this like big time. He's been so patient, very, very kind, and very helpful with this. So big shout out to him for helping me walk through this. And now the D21 community will have some videos on kind of just where to get started on how to tune their trucks. Remember, this is I'm not going to call this video a how-to. This is a do-it-your-own risk. Watch me mess up, fail, and learn from it so you guys can learn from it too. So everything is pretty good so far as I can see. Truck's idling great. But my AFR is great. 14.50. I think that's a pretty solid AFR. So, for idle anyway. So, I mean, that's cool. And, our temp isn't too bad. I'm going to look up what an actual hardbody temp is, and eventually we're going to wire the fans to the ECU as well. So, I'm thinking for now I'm going to put the seat back in here and probably go test drive this thing a little bit. Start logging it a little bit and just let auto-tune do its thing for a little while and see what else we can come up with. But not a crazy exciting video, but very eventful, and you guys get to learn a lot from it. So I think that's the most important thing with videos like this. Alrighty, so I have just cleaned up my interior a little bit. I'm going to start getting ready to put the seat back in here. And one of the things I'm going to do is take these little screws, and I'm going to screw this in. There is a plate that goes around it, but I'm really not too worried about it. Nothing's going to really hit it. And I'm going to have to come back and pin in my electric fan soon anyway, so I'm just going to leave it open for now. So we're going to say auto-tune's working good for you guys. And essentially what you're going to do is to tune your cold starts. So it's a little bit of a chillier morning. It's raining right now. We're going to come over to here, key turned, and we're going to hit diagnostics, And every time we start the truck for, I don't know, until we feel like our tune is pretty dialed in for starting, we're going to go to Tune Analyze Live for you and Warm Up Enrichment. We're going to hit Start Auto Tune, make sure we're neutral, and fire this thing up. So as you can see, we crank a little bit longer, and so that's basically what this will do for you. We'll hit Stop Auto Tune after it's started, apply, and save on ECU. That's literally all you need to do to you know, keep tuning in those little startups on cold days, warm days. So that should be all. The interior back in, the laptop in place, and we're gonna go take this for a drive and start using the auto tune just to get this thing dialed in. So let auto tune do its thing. It is colder right now. So where are we? Sorry, still trying to map my way around this. Yeah, sorry. Start auto tune, and like I said, just a tiny skip. It's like, feels like a little misfire or something when we first take off. But I mean, the fact that the truck is drivable is already a huge plus. All right, so auto tune has been all fired up. Truck is a little cold right now, but it's, you know, warm enough. Like, it did not take us long to figure this out at all. And just kind of letting auto tune do its thing. Notice a difference yet. I feel like I'm a little more limited right now, but I feel like that's where the real tuning comes into play. But other than that, I mean, I'm able to drive the truck nonetheless. Like, it feels very safe. I don't feel like I gotta worry about it, like, you know, dying and leaving me stuck on the side of the road. So that's very cool. That's a very forgiving thing to feel. So yet again, you don't have to follow my steps because this isn't a how-to. Like I said, this is full on do at your own risk. I am just doing my own thing. I was watching a video by Turbine Research. Go check out his channel. I mean, that's where I'm watching most of my videos to learn how to do this kind of stuff. And he just sets up a basic AFR table. He says it's not perfect, not for everybody's engines, but we're going to go off of it because it's a lot better than what the base map was giving me. And so now, when I go to analyze and tune for you, I messed with some of my my things over here, so I allowed the allotted each one of these are cells, and I let them change by at least 30 points because we're running super lean. I'd rather be running a little richer, so I really want to allow auto tune to be able to tune some of this out. And I changed my max RPM to like 6,100 RPMs for now. We're gonna see how that does. I mean, that's kind of high. I feel like for the KA, it's not an engine that loves high revs, but messed with just a couple other settings in here. I mean, you can kind of look at what I have, and if that's what you want to go off of, go for it. But for AFR targets, I did AFR table 1, and now we've just mapped out a good AFR table 1. So, you know, we're just going to give that a go and see if the truck drives a little bit different from our first test drive. All right, so we're back out and setting the table. So right now I'm in like 3rd gear, and what I had noticed right now is all my power is like top end. Here, I'll come over to here, like 3rd gear right now. I'd be swapping to about 4th right now. I mean, we are 4,000 RPMs, but right about here is where all my power's coming in. And I'm actually going to change my rev limit down a little bit because it seems like I like 5,800 seems like plenty, to be honest. I set it to 61, but that would be high, and I don't need that high. So another thing we're going to talk about right now while we're on the hard body is rev limit. So some people have theirs all the way up to like 6,500. I feel like 6K is a little high, but pretty comfortable. On my truck, my gauge cluster only goes up to about 6K realistically. Like if we were to, I guess I could go a little higher. Probably 6K would be a good comfort. But I set mine to 5,800 for now, and I can go higher. So essentially, if I wanted to, we could hit our basic load settings. We can change our rev limit right here. We can back out of that, and we can go to our tune analyze data. We're going to go to the advanced settings, and when you auto tune this thing, sorry, wrong table. We're going to go to the fuel table, and when you hit advanced settings, you're going to want to change your max RPM right there as well. And especially down here, you can set the value of your how high you want your RPMs on your fuel table as well. So just something cool to look out for. We might bump mine back up a little bit more, maybe to the 6K. Figured I'd turn my rev limit down for now. But you know, all in tuning, there's a lot of things I'm going to change even right after I make this video. So these are just kind of basic things to show you guys how to calibrate your trucks. And if you want to follow what I did, you're more than welcome to, but you might find easier and better and more efficient ways to set up your truck. So right down here, it'll tell us our coolant temp. One of the things that I was having an issue with is the auto tune just didn't seem like it was doing anything. And I don't think it was. Sorry, it took me a minute. Basically, here's our minimum coolant temperature. So I'm going to go drive the truck around for, we'll say 25, half hour, and just see where the coolant temp is at. And say, I mean, the minimum coolant temp, it should pass 160. But for say it doesn't, I'll bring that number down a little bit. But basically, this has to get to the minimum coolant temperature to start logging. I mean, it literally says it right there. These are your advanced settings, and that's when it starts auto-tuning. So that was just a complete, like, fluke on my end. But that's okay. Like I said, I'm okay with admitting these things that I'm just not understanding because I'm so new to this. I have no background in it, and I'm just learning as we go. So, again, we're going to run outside and literally just go drive this thing for, like, the next 45 minutes to an hour and see what we can get. But even here, I selected the whole graph. I was watching a video by what's this man's name? CEK Garage, and he selected the whole thing and smoothened out the graph. This will give you a little bit better 3D look, so it's not so it's not very choppy in any spots. And it'll just help out. It's this top right thing right here. And now I'm gonna go drive this around in the auto tune, do its thing. So now we're doing a lot better, getting a pretty good target. It's about high 14s, low 15s, just in cruise. All those numbers are being changed. Even on the top right, you can see that's a lot of the stuff that's getting changed. That's the cell weighting and the cell change at the bottom right. So anything that's red is like what's highly getting changed. And from what I watched, the guy said you can either use update controller as you go, but he said if you just drive it around a bit and then hit apply and then save to ECU, that's probably the best way. So I'm just bouncing around a little residential neighborhood right this second just to take this quick clip to say the auto tune has been going great so far. So I mean, you can really see the changes on that graph so far. I mean, really happy with that. I did change my coolant minimum to 150 because while driving, the electric fans just kick on a little early. Be happy, like legit. Like I think it's just the computer now has a different power band. So when I give this throttle, before in second gear, you know, I'd have a lot of pull here. I mean, I felt like pretty intermediate throughout. And if I can change my RPM range, I would love to. I feel like from like 4,000 to 6,000 RPM, I mean, my truck really comes to life. Like it's a little crazy, to be honest. But I would rather have that scattered out just a little bit more. You know, I don't need all that power at once. I'd rather have just a good plane of power all the way across. I mean, I think with the steps that I had gone through, you guys too will be able to maybe learn some things from the things that I had done wrong or could have done better. And if you have other tips, please let me know. Like I said, I'm new to this, so I mean, anything will help realistically. But right here, this is our first log through auto tune. And I had update controller on. I just turned it on a few minutes ago. So we're going to save that. And we're just going to stop auto-tune for a few. And just, like, really admire. Like, that's a lot of change. We changed 165 cells in that time. So, not bad. The average cell change is about 9.3. I'm going to leave. I let this really high. I think a lot of people would run, like, I don't know. You lower these numbers as you, like, are trying to fine-tune. I'm not quite there yet. I would say for the most part, we're pretty much done with the basic tuning, and anything else I'll do, I'm sure I'll do some stuff on my own. And like I said, when I do things like wiring the electric fans, I'll make a video so you guys can kind of see what I go off of there and all those fun things. Hey, what's up, guys? So I'd just like to say, as this video progresses, I'm showing you guys how to calibrate some of the things in your truck, and a lot of these things that I show you will apply to your vehicle on how to set up your timing, calibrate your sensors, XYZ. So if you come across the issue that your truck isn't really running how you want it to, one of the things you're going to have to do is probably talk to a local tuner, and there's no shame in that. I mean, these are people that do this day in, day out, and can really help you assess any issues you might be having with your tune, because it's like they say, you know, the price of what you're going to pay to rebuild your blown up engine versus the price you could have paid to just, you know, talk with a tuner and, you know, pay them to tune your truck or set something up is, it's a lot cheaper to pay a tuner, and you'll be able to enjoy your vehicle without issues like you would if you try to tune it yourself, if you're having issues and you blow it up. So just something to take into effect. So I'm talking to a tuner right now. This is part 2 of the video. I will end up making a part 3, I'm sure, after we run the tune, just to talk about some of the things I could have done better with the base map I had set up and using the auto tune. You guys up to date later on. We'll make an updated video. I'll write part 3. But for the installation and setup, it's basically a 2-part series. Basically everything you're going to need to know to set up your ECU. So like I said, I've been driving this too for days. So I mean, everything I showed you, it is drivable, but if you start getting weird noises and pinging, talk to a professional. This is just basically just how I set my MSPMP2 up, and if you guys want to follow any of the steps, you're more than welcome. All right, everybody, sorry for the extra rambling throughout this video. I'm really just trying to describe things the best I can, but if you want to see some more Minitruck content in the future, don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay tuned for part 3, and I will see you all soon.